All right, welcome back to Did You Play That, our retro gaming podcast focused on some of our classic video games. My name is Eric, and the proto-man to my Dr. Wily co-host is Josh. And yes, this is our second time through this, and I totally threw Josh for a curveball because I think we did Dr. Wily and Dr. Light last time. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the quite possibly top 5 Mega Man game of Mega Man's Soccer. That's right. Before we do get into that, if you have been enjoying our podcast, please subscribe, leave us a review, follow us on Instagram at Did You Play That. The U is spelt with just the letter U instead of spelling it out. Y-O-U, it's just the letter. Watch some of our playthroughs on YouTube. Share it with a friend. We greatly appreciate it. We want to just try and get out there and get to as many ears and involved with as many of you as possible. So like, subscribe, all those good things. That's the end of that. Let's get into this. Mega Man's Soccer. Josh, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about some Mega Man Soccer. Combination of two of my favorite all-time things, which is soccer and Mega Man.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This was a game growing up that I played 1 through 4 at least before this, and I think I had Mega Man X before this. So I had played a lot of Mega Man, and my family is a soccer family. So I grew up playing soccer. I think the earliest you could sign up for it was like age 5, and I had been playing the entire time all the way up through to high school. So this hit both of my personal favorite things of video games and a game I did like, as well as outside things that I didn't like in soccer. So I was psyched for this game. Let's talk about a couple different things for this. Have you played Mega Man? I mean, I know you've played Mega Man games before. I know that Mega Man X is one of your favorite games, but is this this isn't Mega Man X?
No, and I know I say that Mega Man and soccer are two of my favorite things. Mega Man X, honestly, is one of the only Mega Man games I played, but that's how much that I enjoyed that game, and I've replayed it many times, and I can't wait for us to do a podcast on that one game specifically. But yeah, that is my most experiences between Mega Man X and Mega Man Soccer.
Wow. All right. Yeah. That's crazy, because, I mean, again, this came out, I think, in 93, 94 range, like early 90s, and at that point, I owned 1, 2, 3, and 4 growing up as a kid. I owned Mega Man X and X2 as a kid. After that, and Mega Man Soccer, obviously, for Super Nintendo. After that, I got both Mega Man Legends and Legends 2, which were the 3D games for the PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And I even got the spin-off game, which was the Tron game, which that one I didn't appreciate as much, but I was a huge fan of the Blue Bomber. I loved the cartoon. I had action figures. I think I had comics. I was as invested in, Mega Man as I was probably in Mario at that time. And when they made a game that was about my favorite sport, and you got to pick and choose your Robot Master teammates and use their special shots, all those things, I got so excited. It's probably one of the few video games that I truly picked out at that time and age and knew what I wanted and got it.
Yes, this was one that I absolutely owned, and one of my most played games of Super Nintendo, which was my very first system that I actually got also. So,
oh, the SNES was your first?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
I had played, most of my video game experience prior to getting this. This was when I was 6 years old, my Christmas present. Christmas present was the Super Nintendo. Prior to that point, my only experience with video games were a couple arcade games that I played with one of my uncles. And so I didn't even really know yet just how big and important in my life video games were going to be.
Yeah. It's crazy to think back of you doing these little things and a Christmas comes up or a birthday or a party at the arcade, how those impact us now. And you sit and think about them and you're oh man, this connection to a game where you can get little Easter eggs here and there. And it's just, it's awesome to have some of those little moments and memorizations. Or, I mean, I remember some of my Christmases where it wasn't necessarily video games, but you got that toy or that thing you wanted. And every now and again, I'm like, man, Donkey Kong 64 sticks out in my head for some reason. Like, just one of those games that I got, and I was like, this game's great. I loved it. It doesn't hold up nowadays, but man, I was so excited for that when I got that as a kid, and it just stuck to me. So let's get into this. I almost always played through the Capcom Championship,
yes,
which is like what we've described as the fantasy team draft.
Yes,
because you go through and you go against the 8 robot masters of Skullman, Cutman, Woodman, Pharaohman, Electman, Fireman, Needleman, and Dustman. And thank you for leaving this up in front of me so that I could read this, because again, this is our second go of this, and last time I totally rambled off like 4 of them and couldn't remember the others.
Yes, we I mean, this is the story mode to the game, and then even after you beat these 8 robot masters, you have the mountain to climb to Dr. Wily's lab, and he's the final.
So one of the things that I feel like I need you to make sure you know, for any Mega Man fan, when you go through the normal robot masters in Mega Man, you then get like the flashing screen and you go to the Wily stages, or like the Wily castle, and it's always some skull with like buildings in the background or something. And
I was going to ask you that, because again, Mega Man X is the same setup,
yep,
and I'm making that connection now as an adult that I didn't make as a kid.
Yeah.
It is the same, 8 bosses where you finish the level, steal their power-ups, and then you take that into the that extra levels that eventually lead up to Sigma in that case.
Yeah. And so I think the only thing that was different is I think in Mega Man 1, I'm not sure about, I know there were Game Boy games. I don't know much about those, to be honest. I never owned one for the Game Boy, but I believe in Mega Man 1, it's just 6 Robot Masters and then the Wily stages. But just
again, looking through the wiki here, the idea is that this game came right after Mega Man 4. So this is...
which is crazy to think in my mind. Like, I know that Mega Man 5 and Mega Man 6 were near the tail end of the NES, the regular Nintendo, right? And I think that it's mind-boggling that this came out right around the same exact time as those two things. Because I think those came out were like one after another. When I think back about all the Mega Mans, especially with the regular Nintendo, those things just got pumped out. There's 6 of them, right? Think of any other system where there are 6 games initially drafted for that system. For the NES?
Oh, for the
NES.
Yeah,
for the NES. There were 6 games of Mega Man, right? I believe on the Super Nintendo, there's
even 6 games of anything else in general.
Yeah, I know.
Hard enough,
right?
To
like
find.
On Super Nintendo, there's X, X2, X3, and I believe Mega Man 7 and Mega Man Soccer. So like, there's 5. That's a lot. That's a lot of the same quote unquote game or same characters,
right,
in one place, one time. I don't think any other system or game has done something of that nature. I could be wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
But like,
I'm sure there's something along the same lines, but again, I don't think it's to that same extent.
Yeah. Right. So again, I think we both talked about the Capcom Championship. Like, you go through, you choose your character to fight against first, because you are a team of Mega Men or Mega Mans. I don't know what the phrasing is there still. I never found out, but you start off with a team of 8 characters on the field, which doesn't make sense to any of you soccer fans. I agree. But 8 characters on the field. Every single one is a Mega Man character. Same color, same skins, no difference in stats or anything. It's the same person, same thing. Mm-hmm. And you get to choose of those 8 characters who to go against. If you beat them, a player from that team then joins you to then continue through the rest of the league or the rest of the championship until you get all 8 of these characters, and then you go to the Wily stages and you fight, or you play against Anchorman, and then Proto Man, and then you play against Wily himself. and pretty much every character has strengths and weaknesses. Some are faster, some are slower but have better defense, some tackle harder, some clear the ball better, some can take special shots as goalkeepers where others cannot protect or block special shots. And I know we talked about this, but who was your go-to character again? Who do you typically start with to kind of like start your team?
So the first boss I always selected was Woodman.
Yeah.
A couple reasons why, and again, it's been a while since I've actually played through this, so maybe you can help me out with this. The special shot.
Yeah.
Did Megaman's special shot? Weren't there a lot of these bosses that could stop his special shot? Like it wasn't very effective. I thought, or at least maybe against just the guys that I had tried. Like I feel like Cutman, for instance, could save Mega Man shot. Or
I don't know the exact number or exact people. Woodman had some of the best defense, and so for Woodman, he was capable of blocking a lot of shots.
So there were two reasons why I chose him, and one was that he was slow.
Yeah.
So like it was pretty easy to just kind of like
run past him
and get some goals and win that one without needing a special shot.
Yeah.
And then once I had him, he could either be like your last man back sweeper or goalie, and did a better job of saving some of those other special shots just to make it easier for you to beat those other bosses.
Yeah. After you got Woodman, who do you typically go for? Who are your next two at least?
Then I definitely wanted an attacker. I probably went Fireman next. And then it was from there. Those were really the two that I kind of branched out from.
Yeah.
Pharaoh Man, probably the best defender in the game, if I'm remembering
Yeah,
correctly.
that you get in this phase at least, yeah.
Was Cutman.
Cutman's a little bit faster.
Maybe Electman. I'm trying to look now at the different stats.
Yeah.
Cutman had very good tackling.
Yeah.
So that was always nice to just be able to. I mean, Woodman had insane tackling.
Yeah, but he was slower than Molasses. He was
right. So like, Cutman had a good speed tackle balance that I definitely went for him early, and then from there, once you had those two or three, it was pretty easy to kind of wipe the floor with the rest of them.
Yeah, I agree. I went a little bit differently. I started with Fireman. I wanted somebody that I excuse me, either play. I like the 3-1-3. I know you like the sweeper in the setup. I could either play him up front, and he had a little bit more speed than Mega Man, or he eventually becomes my midfielder. He becomes the one of the 3-1-3. But I like being able to have something in the middle that kind of can get everywhere, do everything, be capable of anything of what I need. They have slightly better tackling than Mega Man. Mega Man's stats are like mediocre all around, but Fireman I think is just slightly better than him in all areas. After Fireman, I went typically for Electman or Cutman, one or the other, because I wanted somebody who could just run up front, and I wanted to drop Fireman to the midfield.
Okay, yeah.
After I did that, I typically picked up my like slow but strong defenseman, whether it was Wood, Needle, or Dust. They're all kind of the same to me. I don't like how slow Woodman is, so I probably went with Needleman or Dustman. Or Feral Man, because I feel like his tackle stats were pretty decent, but I kind of went more up front and forward, and then moved my group back. Because I always felt like, even if I was going against Woodman at any point in time, he was so slow that he would have to get almost lucky to get past all of my defenders. Yeah. And I could almost like double team him and not have an issue or concern of him like getting the ball to somebody. It would like get kicked into a random space, and so I could take him or Needle or Dustman down relatively easy.
So Skullman really was kind of the useless.
Skullman, I think Skullman almost has, and I'm trying to look at the stats, 40, 62, 96, 128, 40, 62. He has the exact same stats. He's just a different skin than Mega Man. So he was, of everybody in this, the most useless. I don't know. And again, I know that like I almost always, by the time I got past this, I started putting Woodman as my goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Not because he was the slowest, but because I noticed that he was blocking the most shots.
Yeah, he could save the most of those
special shots. So I know that at least with Wily, I think Wily's special shot gets through everybody.
Yes.
But with anybody else, like I would once I got Dustman and Woodman or Needleman and Woodman, like Woodman was my goalie. And I would put Needle or Dustman at like my middle defense. It just was my way of guaranteeing I was stopping as many shots as I knew I could. Because that was the big change. Like, I feel like I could play the computer, and the computer would rarely score on me other than their special shot.
Yes, and even sometimes they would just take some really dumb special shots.
Yeah, the AI in this game.
From the defense spot, and like you had to go through like 12 people just to get to the net.
The AI in this game was not phenomenal. Well, I'll talk about some of the things that I've commented on. I've played through this. I've played through the Capcom Championship. I was playing through the League version, and I've even started playing through like the tournament version so that we could really talk about all of these things.
Okay.
So, I can't kick this cough right now. Sorry. So we played through, you get the
8.
Wily, you get everybody, which pretty much replaces Megaman. He's pretty much sitting on your bench. You get to the Wily stages, and then it's Anchorman. I think it's Anchor, not Anchor.
It's just Anchor.
Anchor. Which, do you know what he's from?
I do not, but I remember him being my favorite character in this particular game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's pretty cool in this, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what the hell he's from.
I'm going to have to, so I have this one is megaman.fandom.com.
All right.
We're gonna look up some Anchor and see what he's all about. First robot from the Mega Man Killer series, built by Dr. Wily.
Okay.
The only purpose of which is to destroy Mega Man. Okay, fair enough. In Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, he appears after the
Is
second
that a Sega game?
Robot. Let me click on that one.
Does it tell you?
I
think that's one of the Sega ones.
Quick.
Yeah, we're going to go down this hole.
Also known as Rockman World.
Yeah, but Rockman is Mega
Game
Man's
Boy.
Game Boy.
1991.
Okay, so again, I never really played the Game Boy ones. I've heard amazing things about Mega Man 5 on the Game Boy. They went a different way in that one, and they didn't do like the Robot Masters. They did like planets, so you go against the planet kind of characters, bad guys. I don't know much else about it. I've just heard really good things about that, and especially for a Game Boy game to have Mega Man. If it was good, it was good. If you had that platforming piece, it probably worked out pretty nice. But Anchor or Anchorman, I'm not even 100% sure which of the other it is. Slightly better than Mega Man. Mostly just he's a little bit faster, but everything else is the same stats. So like his kick, his tackle, and his defense.
Yeah, I just felt like he just looked cool.
He looks cool.
The plate armor and his special shot was just like a javelin or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I felt like he was a crazy goalie. Like, could he stop most?
You know what? I don't think I ever played him as goalie.
But I mean, when you played against him,
he stops everything. He stops
right?
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, when I get him on my team, I typically put him like center forward, or I put him down like center wing.
I mean, he is
forward wing.
When you get him, he instantly becomes your fastest.
Does he really? He's fast. He's a little bit faster than Electman. And where's Cutman? He's a little bit faster than him. Yeah, he is. He's your fastest player at that point.
There are other players that are faster, but you don't get them.
Yeah,
we'll go through those characters another time, a little bit later. So you beat Anchor.
Yep, and then you move on to Proto, which honestly, Proto Man's probably one of my favorite characters in the Mega Man series to begin with. But he's my favorite character in this.
And he's the best character, I believe, that you can actually... fastest character that you get to play with. He's the fastest
character that you can play with in the Capcom Championship. He's got a speed of 47. Mega Man is at 40. Anchor, who was the previous fastest, is at 44. But all of his other stats are the same as Mega Man's.
So the unfortunate piece with Proto Man in this instance is, I think this contributed to Anchor being my favorite character, was you didn't even you didn't get to use his special shot because then you're at Dr. Wily.
You're at the Wily stages, and you can't. Nobody's shot goes through Wily, right? Please, it's I
you get
hope
to use his speed, but
I hope somebody has tried every single special against Wily and knows. But I don't think there's a special shot that goes through him.
I mean, his defense, which I assume is what.
All right, so the Wily stage, or like the final battle, which is all Wily characters, Wily goalie, and he's in this giant like robot suit. His speed is a 50,
and your fastest player is Protoman at
your
47.
one fastest player is 47. Yeah, at Protoman,
and then everyone else is 44 or lower.
Yeah, his tackle is a 240, so pretty much if he slides at you or bodies you, you lose the ball. And his defense is 240, so if you're tackling him, you have to tackle him, like double team him, or get lucky because his defense is so high.
Now, looking at these stats real quick, kick seems to be the same for almost everyone.
Except
there's Woodman.
And
Needleman.
And
Dustman. One more. So now I have to go back. I got to go back and play this now, and I have to use those 3 special shots and just see... Like, what does kick even mean, I guess, at that point?
I always assumed kick was, like when you clear it. Yeah, that's always what I thought. But, like,
defensive.
Why is it... Oh, no, we'll talk about that later. Because I'm going to talk about ROM hacks for this game, because I think it's something that could make this really stand out. So
anyway, Dr. Wily.
You play Dr. Wily. You might win, you might lose. I'm not going to lie. I can't think of a time I lost a single round in the Capcom Championship. Have you? Can you think of a time at least?
I'm sure it happened at some point. Probably. I mean, Anchor or Proto Man.
Do you just get game over and?
I don't remember. There's a
password just for this
feature.
Just for Capcom Championship, there's a password, but I don't.
Definitely nothing that I can remember. I mean, I'm sure I know that I lost Dr. Wily.
Yeah, at some point, definitely.
I don't remember what happened. It's been a while, but.
All right, so I didn't lose to Wily, but you play through, you beat Wily, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens, which interesting because again, now that I'm on the Wikipedia page, there supposedly was an ending.
There is an ending in the file of the game.
Yes. Do you know about it? Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
So all I know, apparently from reading here, is Mega Man dies. That's the ending.
What? He dies?
Yes.
How does he die?
The ending is that Mega Man dies. So I'm assuming this is supposed to be what happens when Dr. Wily beats you. I guess I don't really know.
But if you win, why do you die? I don't understand that.
That's all I'm reading here is that there's an ending programmed. It is unused and inaccessible, I think, unless you have cheat code or hack or something. But it seemingly depicts Mega Man's death.
Oh, actually, yeah. I'm not on that same section as you, but I'm at something where, like, in championship mode, Mega Man manages to confront and defeat Wily at his arena. Wily then proceeded to beg for mercy, which he always does in these games, and then fled when the lair began to collapse. Mega Man then collapsed to his feet as rubble rained down on him.
Okay. Nice.
Proto Man then watches the sea and then teleports out. Right? So there's always this, like, you beat Mega Man games. I don't know if I know the X one as well as I know the Mega Man games. Like, you defeat Wily, he jumps out of the robot thing that he was controlling and, like, begs at your knees. He grovels to his knees and, like, begs to not kill him. Sometimes he runs away. Sometimes, like, it's just that. You see him crying or sweating. I'm not sure what it is.
Classic supervillain.
Yeah, and again, when you beat this, I was super disappointed because it just, like, you beat it and it goes to the title screen.
Yeah.
So you get the bum 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 bum, like, title screen intro again. You're
very anticlimactic.
What the frick? Sure. And so you get that, and you're like, I feel like I got that, and I was like, done. So I think I, like, just immediately quit the game, turned the system off, and was like walked away.
Yes, but I came crawling back later. That's for sure.
An ending, and you have to, like, kind of do something. You have to either put in a password or you have to, like, play an exhibition with weird characters. to access the ending.
Okay.
So at some point, YouTube it or look it up. I have not actually seen it. I have not actually done it, but there are ways to watch it.
It does say there in tournament mode, the ending is that Mega Man celebrates his win with Beat carrying a banner saying, "You are the champ."
Which is interesting because Beat is from Mega Man 5. Beat is the bird. Like, you get Rush, which is not in Mega Man X, but you get Rush, and he's not in this either. Rush the dog. And he's like Rush Jet and Rush Spring. And you jump off of him or you fly on him, or like Rush Sub or whatever. And then Beat is a special thing that you can find. You don't have to, but you can find certain things in Mega Man 5 to unlock him. And he pretty much follows you. And then whenever there's a bad guy on the stage, he just like attacks them. So the fact that Beat is in this is crazy because there's no Mega Man 5 bosses in this.
Yeah, again, when I read through the wiki, and maybe I missed something, but it seemed like it said this came out after Mega Man 4. But then you said,
so this came out in 94.
They kind of pumped these out pretty quickly.
Oh, they pumped these things out.
I'm wondering if they kind of already had 5 on the way, and they just sort of knew what was coming, but I don't know, it's a little weird.
Right. It is the 5th game, but it was released in Japan. So Mega Man 5 was released in Japan in 92. And then released in North America and in Europe in 93.
So Mega Man Soccer was 94. So
it's a year after, so they could have included more, I guess.
I guess maybe it's the storyline is supposed to take place after 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So, I mean, there's like that little story with the Capcom Championship, Wily takes over, blah, blah, blah. But after that, everything is just kind of like party game. Like, I feel like this is where like, and I know it's come out, like Mario Kart's come out at this point, but it wasn't explosive. It wasn't great. It's pretty good. It was fun at that time, like by all means. It's not the same. Like 64 made it that much better. Mm-hmm. The Wii ones made it that much better. Double Dash, like the game just exploded after that. But this was like the first time like that you got a main character from a video game that was now in what I feel like is a quote unquote party game or a sports game. Like you got Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Baseball, Mario Soccer. Like you have all these Mario Party. Like just to keep it simple, but like you have all these games that exploded. That just took in as many characters from that game's title and gave them attributes of skill or speed or whatever so that you could play with them in a sport or in a party game, like whatever. And this, I feel like, is the first to do it.
I definitely can't think of one that happened before this.
I don't know of anything before this. I mean, there might be. By all means, there might be. There could be. But this is the first one that, like, for me, really blew up. I mean, even maybe before Mario Kart in my mind. For me, personally, at least. Like, I saw this. I already knew and loved Mega Man. And now you're going to put it where I can play with these Robot Masters. I can use their skills. I can use their special shots. I can watch their goal celebrations. I can pick and choose my team. I can set their, like, my lineup, like, I can put them in this order or in that order, and, man, getting to do that was so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we talk some of the other characters that are outside of the Capcom Championship?
Yes, but let's touch upon the league and the tournament, because there's not much in those, but, like, we can touch upon what they are, and then we'll talk about the characters, because really the game revolves around them. So, the tournament there's 8 teams. You kind of choose your boss master, and you choose your character.
They have a team already set up for you.
You choose your like original boss, like your character, and then there's like a team set up around that person. So like, you're pulling it up right now at the tournament. I don't know who you're going to pull up.
Get the same options. Let's take a look at Fireman.
Okay, so you're going to pull up Fireman. It gives you like the setup of like who you're going to play first. You're going to play Woodman. Yay, I get to see their little intro. And then it gives you your teams players. So it's going to be probably like 3 firemen. 1, 2, 3 firemen. You've got Bomb Man, Top Man, Gemini Man, Airman, and Iceman. So you've got some counter pieces. And you're going against Woodman, which has 3 Woodmen, a Snake Man, a Flash Man, a Top Man, and a Gemini Man. So like some speed characters, some defensive characters, some middle of the ground characters. So like it kind of pre-selects your team and you can do with it as you choose. And you play through the tournament. If you win this round of, 8 teams, you then go to a playoff of Anchor, Proto-Man, and Wily.
No.
This one actually has like a finale of like a congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing crazy. Like if you win the first round, like a team walks out with a little banner. These 2 people that walk out, and I've never seen these 2 people ever in the Mega Man franchise, walk out with like a congratulations banner. And your 3 forwards or your 3 like front people do their goal celebration as they walk by, which is kind of fun.
I think I've only ever played the Capcom Championship. Like I knew tournament and exhibition and league existed, but I never played them fully enough through. I just played so I'm learning some things here.
Yeah, it's nothing fancy, but it's kind of fun. Like if I'm winning in the first half by X many goals and they've used up all their special shots, I'm going to put somebody different up front just so I can watch their celebration. If you win the whole thing, you are the champ. Beat the bird does fly over, kind of dragging that, and I believe Roll and somebody that I don't know walk out with like roses and trophies, or roses and a trophy, I should say. Do you even know who? You don't even know who Roll is, do you?
Is that the dog?
No,
or is that
Rush is the dog. Roll is like the female character to Mega Man. I don't think they're brother and sister, but like
it's like Zero of the
original like
Mega Man.
But not as cool and not as badass. Like she's more of like the helper, where she would like throw you like an energy tank, maybe at best.
Yes, I know. I definitely played one of the original Mega Mans, where you could call Rush and bounce off of him.
He has Rush Spring, and he kind of like launches you up in the air. Yeah,
I did not see Roll in that.
Roll didn't play a major role in any of the games. So that's until I should say the Legends games, which we'll talk about those maybe at some point. I hope to actually. After that, League is like probably worse. I'm not gonna lie. I just finished it. You choose a team. You kind of have the same idea. It pre-selects your people. It's different than this, but you go through and it counts. If you win, you get 2 points. If you tie, you get a point. If you lose, you get nothing. And then it tracks your goal differential. When you win the league, you get nothing.
And that, especially as a kid, I liked soccer. I liked playing soccer. I didn't know enough. I didn't watch soccer. Like, I didn't know Premier League, La Liga, like those things. I didn't know how a league actually worked. I was used to always having a playoff system for things. So, I think that kind of is one of the things that steered me away from even attempting a league.
I just feel like the not being able to select your team or pieces. I mean, you select your team, but like you really only select one person on your team. Mm-hmm. Not being able to select multiple made it a little disappointing. Made it a little bit harder to like invest your time and effort into it.
Like the only real, I don't know if it's a benefit, but like the only real reason to play some of those is like there are those other players that you get no access to playing the Capcom Championship that you do get. Like if you want to see a different special shot or a different celebration, that's your place and way to do that. Yeah,
so exhibition is where you get to pick and choose. Like I think you have to choose your lineup positions, your formation, and then you get to choose your players. So again, I like to play the 3-1-3, which I think allows me to choose who my 3 forwards are, my individual midfielder, my 3 defensemen, and then my goalkeeper. And you choose one character to cover those positions. Where I know, Josh, you choose the sweeper positions, which lets you choose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, because you have the goalkeeper and the sweeper as individuals. So it lets you individually choose between a laundry list of, I believe, what was it, 24? 20?
Let's see, we got, well, not Dr. Wily, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
20 players from Mega Man 1 to Mega Man 4, including Anchor from the Game Boy Mega Man, whatever that was from. You do not... oh my goodness.
You can see him down there.
Yeah, you can see Dr. Wily, but there's some way that you're supposed to access him, which I think has something to do with completing the Capcom Championship and actually getting the official ending. So whatever you have to do to get that. But you don't get to choose from Dr. Wily, sadly.
Now, one thing on the screen, as I'm picking different people here, that threw us off the first time we tried this podcast here. The defense is spelled DIF.
Yeah.
And we were like, what does that mean? Is that like your ability to stop special shots or what? But it's just defense. They just spelled it with an I. I had no idea why.
I don't either, but that threw me for so long. And let's be honest, like, some of these characters, if they're just jacked one way or another, everybody's kick is pretty much the same. And I'm assuming that the kick is your ability to clear the ball, not your ability to use the special shot and get through somebody.
I think so.
So that makes a big difference because, like, I mean, even in comparison, like, 62 is pretty much everybody's kick, and 64 is for what? Dustman, Needleman, and Woodman. Nobody else has a kick of 64. Yeah. But does that really get you that much more? I mean, when I have Mega Man...
As opposed to, like, for example, Mega Man's tackle is 96, but they're a bunch of, like, 128s or 224s or 240 for Dr. Wily. Like, those are very different scores.
Well, I'm always surprised because, like, why are there a bunch of, like, the same numbers? Like, why is it that Needleman's 128 and Fireman's also 128? Like, why did they choose them to be the same numbers? There's so many numbers they could have chose from because I think the lowest, and this is just kind of scanning, the highest 224, 224. Why are there two 224s and Wily's is 240 and the lowest is what? 64?
64.
Like, there's so many points in between that you could have made.
And he's the only Elecman.
Yeah.
Only one with 64. Oh, no, there's Iceman is 48.
But that's for his defense, right?
For tackle.
Oh, that's for his tackle?
Iceman and Elecman.
Where are you at, Icy? Oh, there's that. Yeah, his is pretty low, too.
Everyone else is pretty much 90. Yeah. So
like, it's his defense, too. And it's his speed.
You took the time to... Well, which is actually the fastest speed on here.
Him and Gemini. Other than Wily, are the fastest.
You took the time to make 4 separate stats, and you took the time to differentiate, but, like, not... A lot of times they didn't differentiate.
No, they're
you could have taken it just that one little tweak further.
They're really similar, and I agree. They could have taken it that one tweak further. But this is where, and I know we talked about this a little bit, like this is where when I played this with my brother and I played this a little bit. He hated soccer. I don't know. I can't say he hated it. He just didn't like soccer the way that I did. He and I would play, and he didn't like it the same way that I did. But my other friend, Scott, and I would play this, and we both loved soccer. I loved video games, and he at least appreciated video games. And we would keep stats. Like, we would play, like, win-loss records. We would keep track of, like, when we played cooperatively, like, who had assists, who had goals, who let goals in. Because I feel like there was a lot of fun things that you could have done for stats that the game just doesn't track for you. But we did for ourselves, so that we could have that little extra competition with each other. And this is the game, like, we're going to do a fantasy draft of this. We're going to have a fantasy sports of Mega Man Soccer, where not only do Josh and I, but our friend Taylor, who will also get involved in at least the Aladdin podcast. Yes. I think we're going to pull him for more than Aladdin, but at least the Aladdin podcast. And possibly his brother, possibly someone else, if his brother's not going to partake, are going to do a fantasy draft.
We're going to set up a tournament.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, at most, because the sweeper is the most elongated position. You can pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters, right?
Including the goalie.
Including the goalie,
Which I'm just now noticing they put the goalie
in front of the sweeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they really didn't think sports or soccer at that point in time. So you can choose, typically it's 4 characters because you've got like your forward line, you've got your midfield line, your defensive line, and then the goalkeeper. But the sweeper is the elongated forward, midfield, defense, sweeper, goalie, breakdown. So you have 5 in that option.
Right, and so when you choose your forward character, all of your forwards are that character. You don't
so
get,
like
you
right
don't
now,
get
you picked
forwards.
Cutman, so it's Cutman and Cutman. You can, once you actually go and assign them to their positions, rearrange depending on your choice, but you're probably not going to change things up drastically. So we are already organizing, planning, getting together so that we can do that, have a little bit of a draft. We'll record the gameplay, we'll record the commentary as we play through, and obviously you'll have a fun time watching and observing. But this is the exciting part of this game, is that you can do things like this. Is you can create a team of robot masters to dominate soccer. Right? Yes. Like I feel like that's what's exciting about like Mario Golf is you're playing golf. No, don't get me wrong. I get why golf is fun. I can see the enjoyment in golf. But golf is not something I go and choose to do on a regular basis, at least. Yeah. But you go out and you play Mario Golf, and you're like, look at me, I'm Mario. I'm going to go hit the golf ball. Like, you know.
And they have the little, like, the special shot.
Yeah.
And, you know.
The reactions, like Mario Tennis. Like, why is Mario Tennis so much fun? Because I'm sitting at the front line as Waluigi blocking every single thing you send at me. Or I'm sitting in the back as Boo curving things around you.
Yes.
And then I get some great celebration as I destroy you. That's what's fun.
The extra aspect to the actual sport itself. Absolutely.
And that's what this game does, is like you get those extra, like, you get the fun little goal reactions or celebrations, and you get that, like, create your team, build your team. And
special shots.
You really feel like they're all... You know, there's some overlap. Like, obviously, like, I think it's Pharaohman and Fireman have, like, the fire shot, special shot.
Yes.
They light the bad guy or the other team player on fire.
Right.
But I feel like after that, there's not a lot of overlap. Like, Mega Man, Proto Man look similar and do similar things, but Proto Man's, I think, was a different color. Skullman, very much so, like, in the video game, he wraps the ball in, like, mini skulls, like a shield. Woodman having a similar effect
with the leaves.
With the leaves.
Cutman's is definitely a different one.
Cutman's turns it into his, like, the little scissors that he's got on the top of his head.
And it slices the goalie up.
Dices them all up. Yeah. Same with, so Needleman's turns the ball into, like, a needle ball, but it dices them all up.
Yeah. There's Elecman.
Elecman, like, shocks them. I think that's one of the funnier, like, things. Because they just, like, shake violently,
Shake their head back and forth,
yeah. Dustman's got the dust buster where he just, like, covers them in trash.
Just covered in a pile of garbage, just falls on top. I always like that one.
Bomb Man turns the ball into a bomb, which is cool. It just explodes. It means nothing crazy, but...
some of these I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Airman. So Airman's the top right there, yep. He turns it into like a little tornado and launches the character up off the screen, and they fall coming back down.
Okay.
Gemini Man splits the ball into 2. I think it's technically the hardest shot to block because there's the 2. It makes it like it kind of weaves back and forth. Snake Man turns the ball into a snake. I don't know what it does when it hits, to be honest, but it turns the ball into a snake, which is cool. Pharaohman does the fire. Toadman turns it into like this like neon whitish shot. I don't know what it does. Bubbleman's is similar to Airman, where it turns into a bubble. The character gets stuck in the bubble and like floats up.
Okay.
I don't know what Flashman's does. I think it turns it again into like that neon shot. I don't know what Topman's is. Iceman's turns into an ice ball and it freezes the character.
Encases them in ice.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that one. That was a good one. I like.
Yeah, but because, like, Top Man, Flash Man...
I feel like Flash Man's is probably... I might be wrong, but I feel like it's maybe similar to just the Proto Man, Mega Man.
Is Flash... Hold on. Leave the stats on Flash Man. He's got the same exact stats, right, as Mega Man? He's got worse stats than Mega Man.
Oh, yeah, but the defense.
Yeah.
Is he the...
So, one of the things that I love about Mega Man games is that, like, there's obviously, like, the first character that you should go to. Yes. And that you kind of got to figure that out. And he's one of those characters.
Yep.
So, I almost feel like it's kind of great that they made him, like, the worst version of Mega Man. Because you can just walk in with your little, like, plasma shot. Or, like, what he shoots, like, I used to call them lemons.
Yeah.
Like, whatever they are. Eggs. Whatever, like, the little things. They just pellets, like... Because you couldn't even do a charge shot back then. And you could take on Flash Man and destroy him.
So Flash Man has the same stats as Top Man.
Oh, God.
So those are the
two
40, 62, 96, 96.
Oh. I'm not going to lie. So, like, I know Mega Man 3 the least of 1 through 4. I know 2 and 4 are probably the best. But I thought that Top Man's speed would have at least been better. Yeah, that sucks. He's the exact same, huh?
Yeah. So those are the two, I guess, potentially worst two characters in the game.
Yeah, they might be.
Other than, I mean, yeah, I think so. Your only other argument might be for, like, a slower character, I guess. Speed is pretty important, I would say, in this game.
Yeah, but I mean, even like I don't know how Toadman is the same speed as Bomb Man is the same speed as Mega Man at 40. That blows my mind. But their defense is at least better. Mm-hmm. You know, like, or they're like middle of the line as Mega Man. Like, they pretty much are just like change their skin, change their special shot. They're the same stats, but.
God, Woodman is so slow.
I didn't even realize that Skullman and Toadman have the same stats either. This is what I think is my biggest struggle with this game. There are definitely things that they could have, should have, easily could have dealt with, fixed, adapted, etc. Like, and I don't know if they just got lazy and didn't. I don't know if they just were like, no one's gonna buy this. Why are we doing this? And like, because. Did you own this?
I did own this.
I owned this as well. And it was one of the games where, like, I really only played it with my friend Scott or my brother, like, when we played it. And then I grew to love it more, like, later in life. But why didn't they make more differential pieces to all of these characters?
I would love a remake of this game. I would buy this game now.
So here's the thing. Like, I've talked about ROM hacks a little bit. If you watch my walkthrough of this, or my playthrough of this, I should say, because it's not really much of a walkthrough, I comment in numerous rounds that there really should be I would love someone to make a ROM hack of this. There's 1 or 2 ROM hacks of this where the difference, the one thing that people chose to change was the time length. They chose to make it longer than a 10-minute half. Okay. So you can choose a 99-minute time. Wow. For a half. It's a long-ass game.
Yes. That's
a long game.
I mean, it can get very repetitive pretty easily.
Yes.
If possible.
The other thing that they chose to change was that in those 99 minutes, you could also have 99 special shots. Okay. And so I was like, okay, that's not bad. And I think they adapted it so if you actually won the championship, you could see the finale or the final. So I was like, okay, they gave me a finale. They gave me my ending I wanted. But I think the thing I want more is I want more Robot Masters. Nowadays. Now, like back in the day, this was great. This is perfect. Now,
better differentiation.
I want more Robot Masters and I want more differential. Yeah. And I know that somebody somewhere out there in this world can do those things or could teach me those things. And I'm like, I would love it. I would love to include more characters. I would love that so much in so many different ways that, you know, like why from the Mega Man 1, they didn't include Guts Man. I don't know. You just neglected that one character from Mega Man 1.
Yeah, and again, I don't know the...
I know you don't know them. Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, I would love those things. I could get some of them. Like, there's a little bit of, like, they're similar. They're so, like, similar. Why bother? But Guts Man is just not included from Mega Man 1. He's the one person.
Well, I mean, you could also, at this point, the same way you have... so, like, in the Mario games, you've got Mario and then Baby Mario.
Yeah.
We could get some Mega Man X going, some Mega Man X.
Throw Roll in there, throw Rush in there, throw, Zero in there. Like, why not? Somebody could totally put that together. And by all means, it's Super Nintendo, so you could definitely get the sprites and somehow kind of clean them up or adapt them to this version.
Absolutely.
Bass. Did you ever play Mega Man and Bass? No. So Mega Man and Bass is another one. I don't know where it technically falls in the timeline of all this, but Bass was similar to Zero, where he's kind of badass, but he could double jump where Mega Man could only single jump. And so there are a lot of different characters that could now get added in easily. I would love it if Chill Penguin was in this. Right?
Yeah.
Chill Penguin in this would be so much fun.
Chill Penguin was that.
He was
that first boss you go fight.
He'd be down at the bottom, but I would totally destroy Chill Penguin.
He'd have to have a pretty good slide tackle.
He would have to be able to at least slide far.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so let's anything else you want to add about the characters? Because I don't dislike them. I wish they could add more or could have added more. I really wish that they had differentiated them more so that I don't look at them and I'm like, oh, you're the exact same character as this person.
Yeah, that is a little, it takes away from, what's the real point in making some of these selections.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have anything really to add there. Talked about it again. Most of my experience being with the Capcom Championship, so I selected my order definitely based on, at least in that mode, they selected characters that were pretty differentiated from each other for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I love this game. I could pick this up and kind of pick it up and play through a championship, or pick it up and play through like an exhibition at least, and do this all the time, but it is a game where if you were to sit and play this for like a week straight, I think I'd be bored.
Yeah, I think you, I remember very much, it got to the point where if you kind of just run diagonally with the ball against very many of these characters, you're pretty safe. So it can get very repetitive or just simplified.
It's slow. I feel like because I do that I do that. I have a team where I had I think it was a league where I had Iceman, who's a faster character, but once I got up 1, 2, 3 goals, I was like, why bother to keep scoring? It just slows the game down.
Yes, yeah, we gotta wait and stop the clock and do our celebrations. Kind of like, I'm just gonna run around in a circle. And I'm just gonna kill time.
Yeah, I know I won this, so I mean, I did play through the league, and I ended up with a goal differential that broke 100, and it does not let you go above 100. It just starts counting from 1, 2, 3, 4 again. So, and that's against 8 teams. So it shows you some of my goals.
Play each team once.
So you get you play each team once.
Okay.
So you go against you choose Fireman, and you go against Mega Man. It's the same group of teams that you get to choose. So I had one game where I think I had 30-something goals. I was like, this is just abusive and obnoxious. It shows you how broken the game can be if you know exactly how to score.
Yeah, which, I mean, it is a Super Nintendo game, and, they do the best they can, but at that point in time, that's just kind of how a lot of games were. Yeah.
I mean, when we talk about the gameplay, it's not bad. If there was no mini-map, it would be extremely difficult to find yourself on the field sometimes.
Yes, the mini-map. And just the passing can be just weirdly off, or when you pass when you pass from one character to the other and it changes players like randomly, and then you keep running away from the ball.
Yep.
You're like, I didn't realize it changed my guy, and then the computer just walks right in and takes the ball away.
And I think that's the other big thing with this gameplay, the actual mechanics of the play. Like, if you're playing one player, it's not that bad. When you pass the ball to somebody, it's the computer until the ball's close enough, and then it becomes you. And then you control that person. So you pretty much pass to yourself. But when you're playing we played
together.
And we had some major struggles.
Yeah, we did finally recognize on the mini-map there were two different, not very different, but there were some slight differences in the way that it pointed you out versus like the one player was a circle with a slash through it, and was the second player just like a triangle or a diamond?
Yeah, it was pretty much like this. It was too similar that like if they were close, I wouldn't recognize which one I was.
Right, and
if we were on different sides of the field
at the top of the screen, and it's kind of like I can't necessarily look at both at the same time.
You just can't. And there's times where I play this even as single player, and I'm like, where the hell's my friggin' character? Why am I not on defense? Why is it that there's 3 of their people and there's nobody on my team? Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't connect. And it's like, that's like, those are the things that like, I don't hate the game or the timeline of the game of like how it was made for that, but man, if they cleaned that stuff up or made a like an N64 version of this, or like a Wii or whatever, like there's so many Mega Man games at this point that there would be enough of a fandom to follow that and pick that up and play that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised it hasn't continued. I mean, like you said, Mario sort of took over and they've branched out in so many different directions. Like Mega Man is only gaining more and more robot masters.
Because I think they're at least 11. I think they're at 12 now. For Mega Man, not X. Add X in there, and you're at, I think, double digits there too.
Yeah,
and it's just like you could choose and like make it simple. Make it
a Mega Man racing, simple. Mega Man soccer, Mega Man tennis,
Mega Man Olympics. Like, what do you mean? Like, there's so many options with this, and they just, I don't know if Capcom just thinks it's too childish or too silly, or like, what even got them to choose to do this? I don't know, but I'm glad they did. To be honest.
Yes.
I know this is kind of like the butt, and for people who know Mega Man, love Mega Man, like, this is the butt of Mega Man. But I think this is one of those better moments of taking a risk, trying something completely different. There's no platforming in this.
No, I feel like you have to kind of like maybe accidentally stumble upon it, but then it's like, I need more of this.
Yeah. Like, I would love so much more of this. And again, I think that's where, like, the ROM hacks for some people who know how to do those things. Like, you could add so many robot masters or adapt people's abilities. Like, I really want to know with the kick, because there's 2 levels of kick. It's 62 and 64. Like, if we made somebody Iceman's the tiniest character on the field. If we made Iceman's a kick of like a 20, like, does he just not kick the ball far? Does he not kick it fast? Does he not have a special shot that goes through the goalkeeper?
Yeah, can we put someone's kick so that we put them in net at goalie and just like they shoot the ball and just clear it all the way across to the other end?
Do you ever special shot as the goalkeeper?
I'm sure I have at some point, but it's,
There's 2 things I love to do as the goalkeeper. One is the special shot goal and trying to shoot from across the field, because it's like I'm clearing the ball to the other side of the field. I'm not just clearing it to midfield. I'm clearing it to the other side of the field.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I love choosing like a fast character like Iceman, who I can try to or actually pull off the goalie scoring a goal. Because I've gotten Iceman to run across the entire field and get to the other side and sneak a goal past the goalie and score.
The old goalie goal.
Yeah. And I think those are 2 like little dumb fun mechanics, but I mean, the special shots are great. I use them sometimes to purposely score. Other times I use it because I'm like, crap, I need to get the ball out.
Yeah.
And I either need to take the player out in front of me, or I need to just get the ball out to the other side.
Yeah, and then it's, once whether it doesn't go into the net, you still hit someone.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, now I have time to kind of swoop in there and take that ball and just keep going with it.
And just run. At least I know that you're out of the way, no one else is coming at me for a little bit, and I can move. But yeah, I really wish that someone would do that, or they would remake this into a like revamped, like add more bosses, add more robot masters, add more differential in the characters themselves, add some more like scoring celebrations. I'm not gonna lie, again, like Mario Tennis, Boo is one of my favorite characters, not just because he can slice the ball, but when you score a point, you can physically control him and move. I think Mario or Luigi does the same thing where like they put their racket up and you can physically run left, right, or whatever direction and celebrate. Not that you can do that here, but I would love that.
You could add some sound effects to this game too. Each character sounds a little different. I mean, their shots, I think, make
shots
some noise.
Some of the special shots make some noise, but all the like the normal things, like there's no differential, like there's no sound other than the psh, like shot or the like Y pass like little thing.
I'm sure you could easily get some sound effects in here for each character.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, like that's the other thing I think that I was eventually going to build towards of none of the Mega Man music. The music here is all brand new to my knowledge. I don't think there's a single sound or single effect or music song that is similar from the original game of Mega Man whatever number to Mega Man Soccer. And I don't know why.
Especially with the championship mode, why not give the boss that you're fighting at that time, why not use that boss's level music?
It doesn't make sense. And to be perfectly honest, and I know that Mega Man X has phenomenal music. It is some of the best video game music that I can think of. But a lot of the Mega Man music in general is really good. Like, I loved Mega Man 2, and there's some really good tracks in Mega Man 2 that never even make an attempt at being reproduced or like take the thing and change it a little bit, make the tempo different, add a different beat, like something, but like nothing.
No, none of the music, sound effects, whatever, really stand out to me at all in this game.
Like, it'd be cool if they even did the charge shot sound from Mega Man for Mega Man Special Shot, and they don't do that. They don't do the whistle for Proto Man. They do none of those things, and I don't. Again, like, I know this is Capcom's game, but I almost feel like, did you ever play Mario RPG?
Is it the 7 stars?
The 7 stars, yeah. So, like, it's Square. Square got the rights of Mega Man to make, like, a role-playing game, kind of like Final Fantasy, and they did that. But I'm like, there's some things that are similar. They definitely connected some pieces, but it's still got some pieces that don't connect the same. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is what, like, it's Capcom's game. Like, it was, like, a completely different group of people who didn't realize they were Capcom. And just, like, we're like, oh, we can play Mega Man. Like, we can do these things. But we're not Capcom.
Yeah, they must have taken, like, a small section of their development team who, I don't know if it was just a new team that had never worked on a Mega Man game or, like, never, doesn't seem like they ever played many, or maybe they only played a couple of them. Maybe that's why the differentials exist for only some of these characters. Like, you clearly didn't get a team of people who had played all 4 Mega Man games to work on this one to be like, oh yeah. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I just like, I'm disappointed that so much of the things that I love about the original Mega Mans are not connected, not even like slightly.
Right.
Other than their appearance physically on the game.
Yeah, this could have easily been Mario Soccer.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have known.
Imagine if Strikers didn't exist, it was Mega Man characters. Like, think about, like, that would be so freaking cool. So cool. Mario Tennis? No, Mega Man Tennis. Like, that would just be so freaking cool. Love to play that game.
Absolutely.
Oh, I hope somebody goes and makes that now. Like, I would love to actually do that. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I feel like
it's a very missed opportunity there for someone.
Mega Man's
Someone's got to get the word out somehow.
Mega Man's not like a dying breed. I just feel like it hasn't been the same. It's building some steam again because people are getting back into like indie games or like more of the 2D platform style games. But man, that was a missed opportunity by Capcom.
Yes, agreed.
Anything else? I mean, I'm at a point where I feel like I've talked about every aspect of this game. And I don't have much else to add.
No, I think we've gotten through all of it. We got Penalty shootouts.
Oh, PKs. I forgot about the PKs.
We did not talk about yet.
PKs. So
I really liked penalty shootout in this for what it was.
Did you actually get like a recent like PK playthrough?
I have not done it recently, but I do remember it. Like I was scrolling through the wiki page and got to the bottom of some screenshots and immediately locked onto this, and I was like, oh, I do remember penalties, and exactly how they worked, and it's the diving animation, and like they did
actually
flesh that one out just a little bit.
Yeah, so I played an exhibition just to like try a couple things and got forced PKs. I forced the game to tie by shooting on my own goal and all that, which when you score on your own goal, there's no celebration, which is great though. It should be that way. I had, of the 5 PKs shot at me, 4 of the PKs by the computer were shot directly at me. I did not move. I did not.
Your face,
I did not jump up. I did not jump to the side. I just stood perfectly still, and 4 of the 5 were blocked.
All right.
I do think that this is like, and this is like where I feel like the mini game part of this is like that party game of this game should have been like add on. Like if you just did PKs, like you could make that a small little mini game and have fun, like 1v1 or something.
Yeah.
And real simple setup, like B dive left, B dive right, or like diagonally left and right.
Yeah,
like,
or there was the one jump straight up.
Yeah.
Those were your options.
That was it. And that's a real simple little like guess, get lucky kind of thing. But it was fun. Like I had fun doing it.
Could you? Like that
I don't think so. One of the things that I did once I was up like 3-0, I hit the A button, the clear button, to see if it did anything different. And it did the exact same thing.
Okay.
And I don't know if I tried the pass button, but I don't imagine that was going to do anything different. I like it. I like that if you block it, you celebrate. If you score, you celebrate. Like I like those little things.
And there was the little extra to the animation of the dive where you actually like threw your arms out.
Yeah.
Like, jump up, put your arms up over your head.
And I think that goes into, I know it's a mechanic that you can choose in the settings. I always left the goalkeeper on automatic. I don't think I've ever played manual goalkeeping. I've meant to. It's just one of those things I always forget or I don't think about that setting, and I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I'm curious what that actually does, manual versus automatic.
So, like, I feel like that's the first time it actually really gave you the controls of it that actually really logically made sense as well. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, the PKs were fun. I think they could have added some different, like, skill challenge things to make, like, mini games into it or something. But this game is something that I really wish... I really like the base pieces.
Yes.
Wish so much that someone would ROM hack it, or they would update this or something.
Yes, there is potential for so much more to this. But, you know, again, for the time that it was made, for what it was, that's all I have to say about it. So I'm ready to talk about our, of course, rating of the game.
I think I'm ready as well. And I think in our original...
important rating.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to know. I think we rated this at... Did we rate this at 20 last time?
I feel like we rated it out of the 20 Robot Masters.
Okay. Right, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Our only other
and Wily,
thought was rating it out of however many Megaman / Megaman X.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go look that up. There's too many of those, but yeah, I think out of 20 Robot Masters, as much as I think we beat on this game, out of the potential that it should have had or could have had or would have if there was like an N64, a GameCube, a PlayStation version of this, I still give this a 16.5.
Okay. I was at 17 Robot Masters.
Yeah. I mean, I have so much fun with this. It's so much fun to like make a little team and like roll them out there and challenge even just a team of Mega Man. But like, I just think that their little celebrations and the music, though it's not spectacular, is still good enough. And it's just fun to pick up. Like, it's a game where if you picked it up once a week, you'd have fun.
Yeah,
if you picked it up,
play a game a week.
Yeah, if you pick this up every single day of a week, you'd probably be bored of it by the end of the week. But once a week, you could pick this up with somebody who's never played it before, and it doesn't take long to learn. So you'd have a good time with them and play cooperatively or play against each other.
Yeah, and maybe once every 6 months, once a year, I could play through a Capcom Championship mode.
I feel like my replay here is more because just like in any Mega Man, like you could start with the bosses that you're supposed to because they're easy and you go through that way. But like, you really want to challenge yourself, like play it differently. Like start at someone you're not supposed to, and don't go to the next person that's supposed to be easy against that. Like, really challenge yourself to kind of step up and overcome that like lack of advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that there's definitely a lot more replayability. I love the create your own team. I love the idea, and I can't wait to do the fantasy draft and have our little tournament of our characters after we draft them. And there's just so many like little things that they're all little things that when you add them up, it kind of beats this game down a little bit. And
yeah, and we're all, again, we're talking about it with the forward experience of a Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, that just those things didn't exist. Like, this was the first attempt at something like this, and it absolutely did it very well.
It did it so well. Like, I mean, again, as a kid playing this game growing up, it was phenomenal. And, now you see some flaws in it, but you see the potential in this game, and you just want that next step, that next level. Like, imagine if Mario Kart, the original Mario Kart, didn't have a 64 and a double dash and all this. Like, imagine if the game just died. Like, I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that nowadays.
Right.
Mario Kart 8 is like one of the best-selling games of all time. Like,
someone make Mega Man Soccer
Tennis
2020 or something.
Golf. Hell, I'll play Mega Man Golf.
Yeah.
Give us the update. Oh, that'd be great. Oh, that'd be great. All right. So thanks again, as always, for listening to Did You Play That? Do us a favor, like, subscribe, comment, tell us what your favorite team is or what you would do to add to Mega Man Soccer. Watch us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. And until then, go and play some Mega Man Soccer. Go and get around together. And we will see you all soon. Adios.